Yeah. Tell us your name.
I'm Kim Shannahan, Executive Officer of the Home Builders Association, and we had a theme that we wanted to get across in this display. It's 400 years of Santa Fe style, and I'll kind of cut to the chase. Basically, we decided that there was no change in 400 years, and we demonstrated that by having a rendering done by William Rothsart, local artist, and we were trying to show that on a 1 acre parcel, back in the day, that sustainability was done really on 1 acre as long as you had water. This could have been a lot on Canyon Road, coming down from the Acequia Madre, for instance. A simple house, and we captured the vernacular of that house from a historic photo that we think may have been up on Cerro Gordo, up in the hills. And the style, as you can see, really didn't change much from the very beginning over the years. So we kind of go through what we call indigenous vernacular, before the Anglos showed up in the railroads, and homes were hand-built with adobes and vigas, very few windows, not because they didn't like views, but because fewer windows kind of kept the heat in the house. Real simple, very plain. I also kind of captured from the vernacular that was already existing on the pueblos. Some of the pueblos were multi-story, but a lot of them were single-story, long and low. And then in the 1880s, the railroad came to Santa Fe, and everything changed. Americans showed up in 1846 after the Mexican-American War. Railroads came in the 1880s, and there was definitely an impulse to get to statehood, and the idea is to get to statehood is try to make the town look like every other town in America. Mostly in the public buildings, though. We really didn't see this kind of, except in a few neighborhoods, in the houses. Here we have a historic map of 1847, right after the Americans came in, and
I changed it.
Here.
I moved it. We decided that was.
You decided that was a better spot. Here, of course, is the plaza. Old Fort Marcy was actually up by the Fort Marcy compound, by the Cross of the Governors, and these were the parade grounds where the troops would practice their drills and so on. Then coming around the corner, well, you can see how anxious we were to get rid of that. In the 1950s, we blew up this beautiful building that was done by Isaac Hamilton Rapp. Interesting thing, these territorial styles were done by a very well-known local architect, Rapp.
Where was the old Capitol, do you know?
Well,
is it where it is
I think
now?
Where the new Capitol is. The governor's mansion was in that same area.
Right. And the Capitol was next door.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Rapp changed his whole tune in the 19-teens and the 20s. There was a very concerted effort to bring the tourists back into Santa Fe, and what we kind of thought was, well, why would they come and look at everybody else's town? We need to go back to the original vernacular. So Rapp basically stole the design from the Acoma Pueblo. You can see it's virtually identical to the historic Acoma Mission.
Museum.
That's the Fine Arts Museum on West San Francisco, or San Francisco. Where's it?
Palace.
On Palace. Rapp did a couple more things. He did the School for the Deaf, and this is the old post office, which is now the AIA, Institute of American Arts for the Indian Museum, across from the cathedral. I've been talking all day.
I know.
Rapp's style was a lot fussier than his kind of protege, who was John Gaw-Meem. Meem is well known in our community for designing a lot of public buildings and schools. A lot cleaner, a lot fewer of the details than Rapp had.
Right.
And then the suburbanization era occurred after World War II. I'll give you the tour here. So in the suburbanization era, our most famous developer was Alan Stam, who is the grandfather of the camera holder. Alan correctly recognized that the vernacular needed to stay the same. Levittown and a lot of other post-war suburbanization models were creating cookie-cutter homes, and Alan said, you know what, this has worked for hundreds of years. If you remember from our first photos, it's really the same style of home. What has changed, of course, is that one was $9,000. That's probably a Casa Solana house that's probably worth about $350,000 now.
350. Wish I had a couple of those.
What also was kind of cool is that, brand new subdivisions are basically pretty ugly. They're flat, there's no trees, but 30, 40, 50 years later, they become these precious neighborhoods that we all love. So just give us time and they'll all look good.
That's okay.
Santa Fe today, though, really is represented by an explosion of the style. A lot of wealth came into our community in the 80s and 90s. That wealth blew up the small residential vernacular into something that really, some would say, has got out of control. You can see from the pictures here that these homes built in the hills and out in the outer areas of town are hard to sustain, in the sense that you probably can't grow too much out there in that area. It's too rocky, it's too hilly, and they are really dependent on the automobile.
A lot of our memberships are built these beautiful homes.
Well, they are, and we're proud of them. Certainly, we've opened up a lot of creativity and kept a lot of people employed doing this, and it's hard to say no when someone's waving $1 million check in your face. But in the future, we may actually have to go back, and that really is kind of represented by the photo that we have here. Not a photo, but a rendering.
A rendering.
Hey, Dave, we're going to move over just a little bit.
Sorry,
so in
guys.
the future, we come back to our roots. We basically have the same size and shape of a house that we saw in our past. The difference being that we've kind of reconnected to water. In the 20th century, we thought of water as a nuisance. We wanted to get it off our lots and get it into the storm sewers and just get rid of it. We don't want to deal with it. Maybe have a little patch of lawn. In the future, we may be needing to grow our own food, capturing the water off our roofs, using our roofs to heat water for heating our homes and heating our hot water, photovoltaics for electricity that we need for running our computers and our video games, turning our lights on and off. But we've taken that same 1 acre parcel that used to have one house on it and said, maybe we need to have 5, and it's interesting because...
And it looks pretty similar to the Stam and the original, too.
And honestly, in a lot of areas that we built, especially your grandfather did, especially in Barrio La Cañada, those were old bean fields that were fed by acequias. They were nice flat areas, perfect for development. And so we realized that we could still have the suburban model, but really think about it in a much more
renewable energy. And this is a stone.
This is actually
a stone rendering of the.
Well, it's a plaster cast of an existing pediment at St. Francis Cathedral that Lev Kopolov and his son are carving for the cathedral. The rough areas that you see here were cast from the original stone that is still sitting there. The smooth areas are what Lev and his son are adding. So they're adding
to the new ones because they're remodeling it.
Well,
right
no, they're doing this on the existing capitals that are there.
Oh, they are.
That are on top of posts.
Right.
And they're adding Archbishop Lamy's coat of arms that was never there before. And then also adding a coat of arms that was the cathedral's coat of arms. So it's an old piece of stone that's getting dressed up for 2010.
How's the turnout been today?
Sweet.
Yeah, it looks
people.
A lot of folks. Look, we got a lot of folks over at the Adobe. They got the
kids in the Orno. We're gonna wall up some kids.
We're gonna cook some kids.
Cook some kids and be good.
We had the Viga peeler earlier.
We had to give him a break. He's getting those Vigas done too fast. 8 Vigas were supposed to last 2 days, and he would have had them done by noon if I'd have let him go.
The home builders. The home builders does it again.
I think we should do this every year and not wait for another 400 years. This is such a great community event.
That's great, yeah. We got the Latias over here. We got our friends at Cedar Mountain with the new solar panels.
Everything is yours. Do you mind if I take that chair?
Over here. We got other chairs over there.
No, we're part of it. Yeah.
Are you part of it?
Yeah, there's some chairs around.